I'm Chef Josie, aka Lady Snack Daddy. This is important news about lesbian and queer women. We are the Aqua Foundation for Women, the only nonprofit 501c3 in Florida by and for LGBTQ women. Since 2004, we have been the voice dedicated to serving and supporting LGBTQ plus women. Our partnership is part of Hotspot's Happening Out television network's 10 pillars of the LGBTQ plus community. Lesbians and queer women are one of those 10 pillars. We hope you will support Aqua Foundation's vital mission by sharing, volunteering, and donating. We discuss what queer women say they need from gay men and allies. The mission of the Aqua Foundation is is to serve and support the lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and queer women's community in South Florida through grants, scholarships, and initiatives. The foundation believes in creating an open dialogue with the community. The foundation also encourages women to lead by example, because that is what queer women of today's age and time want to do. They demand fair opportunities, support, equity, and equality. Queer women expect to be treated with respect by fellow women and the community, including gay men and their allies. Listen to the queer women of our community sharing their thoughts and opinion. Sadly, a frequent topic of conversation inside the quote L of the LGBTQ plus community is we don't get the support nor the respect from the G.
Ain't that right?
Well, listen, guys, I have to say, as a woman who has many gay male friends, and a matter of fact, they're almost a lot of the time my preferred choice, and it's not because I don't like women. It's because as a masculine presenting woman, I identify as she, her, they, them. I can flow through my genders as I have my entire life. I don't necessarily fit in with the lipstick lesbian, so I don't want to talk about the Kardashians, and I don't want to talk about those things that are not I don't want to talk about the clothes you're wearing, your shoes, unless you're modeling them for me, and I'm not really interested in that, right? But however, I am very interested in doing dude things a lot of the time, because a lot of dudes, they just don't bother each other. When you hang out with a guy, you kind of just hang out, you do whatever you do. You don't even have to say too many words a lot of the time. And it's just fun, it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's fun. I don't have the same experience. I'm also a part of the leather community. So all my leather daddies and my leather boys and my bears and my cubs and all of those guys, they're so loving. It's the most loving community I've ever met of gay men. So I think we just need to also, if there's gay men out there who are not vibing with us, then we just let them go, okay? Because there are gay men out there who support us and who are our allies. I mean, we also see it in a lot of the different organizations heading up these organizations. I know that you've been creating these types of collaborations, these partnerships with men who are also running these other big organizations throughout South Florida and nationally. So, I mean, what is your experience?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, first of all, speaking of people who've been an amazing support, Orlando Gonzalez of SAVE has been an amazing support for Aqua as we go through this time period. And I know Karen, as our acting ED for a whole year, really leaned on his support, and we're just eternally grateful for that. And I think it really comes back to, for me, gender roles and binaries, they seem to matter less and less. And I know we've spoken about it, that when we're going out and finding spaces, it's less about exclusion and saying this has to be just for us. Because when you start drawing the lines, that's when you start leaving out trans people. That's when you start leaving out butch people or people who present in a different way. And exactly, that's not breeding community or collaboration or inclusivity. So I think while we have to acknowledge that people who identify as women or people who present femme still face certain heightened discrimination, and we need to work to lessen that, we also need to acknowledge that everyone together is facing a lot of challenges, and by drawing lines, we're stronger together is essentially the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
I feel like, but we also do have to acknowledge the privilege that gay men have in our community. Like, I do understand your points in saying that, like, gay men are for us, and gay men do support us, and the drawing of lines is also like a problem that we also face. But I feel like sometimes cis gay men have privilege that obviously, like, me as a sapphic doesn't have, because well, in the case of, like, for example, like, white cis gay men, their I guess, like, minority label is, like, gay, and so it, like, basically pushes them up in the, like, I guess, like, scale of, like, privilege or whatnot. And so when you think about that, cis gay men aren't, like, really thinking about trans people. They're not really thinking about women. They're not really thinking about really anyone but gay men. And you can even see that with, like, a lot of gay men voting for Donald Trump.
Yes.
Why?
It's true, and
Why?
I think there's definitely a history of people voting against their interests because they don't see that it's against their
They don't
interests.
see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people in the Latino community who
Yeah.
also voted against
But
Trump.
also because they're just so, I feel like they're closer to privilege. Like, for example, the Cubans in Miami, like, a lot of them are white. And so because of their proximity to whiteness, they're voting for Trump because they find it, like, advantageous to them.
Right, it comes down to white supremacy, which is something this nation was founded on.
Yes.
Coming from, go ahead, Taya.
Sorry, I'm happy you mentioned that because there are a lot of differences in our community, and I feel like we need to really acknowledge the different privileges we have, like either as a white person or an able-bodied person or as a more male-presenting person. And there will be different people in the community that support us. Like, one of my best friends who is a white gay man, I love him, his name is Andrew. So he's always by my side, and there's a lot of really good people in the community. It's just, we also need to accept our differences and our different labels ourselves, because accountability starts within, and that's how we make progress.
I love that.
I'm going to come at it from a different angle as a, as the former acting ED of this organization, and kind of just look at it from how the lens of Aqua, since we're talking about Aqua Kiki here. We have always struggled getting money from white, upper class, gay men. And sometimes, like, I want to say elder, but 50 and up or something like that. I know a lot of people who have a lot of money, and my friends, of course, give to Aqua. But it's like something that I've been struggling with for a couple years now. And one good thing that happened, my close friend Ed Straub volunteered to pay for 13 ads for Aqua in hotspots. And he's a longtime, gay, did a lot of fundraising and that kind of stuff. And he said to me that day, because I was telling him about this struggle, and he said, Karen, you have to put Aqua where people are looking. So I'm going to do this, and hopefully that will get some, some movement,
Right.
Like exactly in, more so in Wilton Manor, in the Fort Lauderdale area.
I think it really comes down to making those relationships and those connections. That's exactly what you're saying, Karen. The people who donate and the people who are involved with Aqua care about us as individuals, get to know us, and want to support us. It's not, otherwise it's going to be what's in it for me. And I wanted to just say the reason we're here today on this platform is for white, older gay men who do want to support Aqua. So
Absolutely.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.